Well, hello. Very quick video here today. It's mid-December in 2017. Just recently put my street bike away for the winter, and just because of timing, it turned out I had to drive it in the heavy downpour, this early winter rain we usually have here in eastern Canada. And one thing I noticed after I got back home is that I was completely dry, specifically because I splashed through a few puddles too. My feet were really dry. And it got me thinking about the boots I had on my feet. And I always thought a great sign of a great boot is that you don't realize it's there. You forget it's there, it kind of does its job, and it kind of goes unappreciated. But I did notice about these particular boots that my feet are still dry. And why should they still be dry? Well, these boots that I've been wearing, I've had on my feet, my street bike, for the most part. Most of my street riding is done with these, especially the long distance stuff. All the cold weather stuff and all the rain stuff. Anytime I've got a long distance to go, I don't know how long I'm going to be away from home, or if I know I'm going to hit some bad weather, I always put these boots on. These particular boots have about 200,000 kilometers on them, so that's about 120,000 miles. They are 7 years old, and they are still waterproof, completely waterproof. They're still completely warm, they still fit fantastic, and they're still holding together. So they look worn, but they're actually still in pretty good shape. And let me show you them. So these are Sidi Canyons. They are a leather boot. They're based, I'm told, on a modified adventure boot. They're quite a bit lower than a typical adventure boot, so dual purpose, if you will. They're designed for road use, and I've used them strictly on road. I've never taken them off road per se, any dirt riding or anything like that. These are, I bought them sight unseen. I shouldn't say I bought them via an online retailer about 7 years ago. I followed the retailer's strict guides on sizing, so I measured my foot and I rolled the dice. And he had an agreement with me that if they didn't fit or I didn't like them, I could send them back if they still had the tags on them and I didn't wear them. However, when they got here, I tried them on and they fit like they had already been broken in. These are Sidi, and Sidi is known for that great, fantastic fit if you have the style of foot that they build their model around. Now, the style of foot that Sidi is known for is slightly wider than normal, and my foot is slightly wider than normal, but generally I'm pretty average foot and foot shape. These particular boots, the Canyon, are not cheap. When I bought them, they were, I think, around $300. Now, with minor changes over the years, they're about $450 here in Canada, so they've gone up in value. They're very popular. There's very few people that own them that don't like them. Sidi, I've used their race boots since buying this boot. I've worn their race boots, which I really like. They use a different material. They use synthetic leather. These are actually genuine leather. They're a mix of a suede and just a conventional split hide, I guess, if you will, or heavy grain leather. They have this kind of ski boot type buckle on the side, but other than that, the only fastening system is this big Velcro flap that goes over and attaches to the side of the boot. They have a full height bootie inside, and it's GoreTex, and that's why they've maintained their waterproof nature over the years. Now, I've had GoreTex clothing since it came out. As a ski instructor, we all had uniforms, and when GoreTex first came out in the 80s here where I live, we all had GoreTex suits, but over a year or two we found those suits in that initial generation of GoreTex to eventually start to leak. These things I use, well, consistently. They still don't leak. And these boots are so comfortable in the style of them that you can actually wear them, and I do wear them off the bike when I'm traveling. This will be my main shoe on the street as well. And surprisingly enough, they are incredible in cold weather. And I live in eastern Canada, and I drive in sub-zero temperatures from time to time. These are warm. Additionally, I drive in heavy rain. These are dry. Finally, because of the design of the GoreTex and the whole concept of GoreTex, even in hot weather where your foot or your leg gets warm, your feet don't get sweaty in these things. They actually handle heat quite well as well. So I wear these boots from 0 degrees centigrade all the way up to 25 degrees Celsius. So these are really, I'm so happy with these boots. And because they work so well, I forget that they're on my feet, and I forget to I kind of take for granted how nice they are. I know there's a lot of people out there who have fought and searched for boots that fit their feet properly, comfortable, dry, and warm, and their budget. Now, on the budget side, as mentioned, these are not cheap. But I guess if you buy 2 or 3 pairs of boots and they don't fit, then maybe these are a better buy. So as you can see, the leather is quite worn and faded here. The toes chewed up pretty good. This particular one, as you can see, there's some wood filler here. The grip is actually worn off the bottom. This is a bit of a safety issue on wet pavement because that will become slippery. This is my left foot. Now when I stop on the bike, I keep my right foot on the peg. You can see the right foot's not worn down so much. And I touch ground, it stops with my left foot here. So there you can see that it's worn already. And I probably will be replacing these next year. Simply because I'm starting to get some of these buckles, sometimes they don't hold their attachment. That was only happened this year, but generally speaking, they've been very, very reliable. As I mentioned, there's a ski boot style buckle on them. They've since changed this slightly, but the idea is you can ratchet it down, get tighter and tighter. This whole strap of leather goes over your insole and holds your foot down against the footbed. Inside which there's actually a decent arch support. So these have held up quite well. As I mentioned, I don't take them off-road. I have my off-road boots here. Now these here boots, these here beat up a little bit more. These have about, they have 1 race on them, I think, and about 3 practice sessions. These are Formas. The Forma, if you're wearing a Forma, and the reason I'm showing you this is because my foot fits in this exact same comfort I get out of these Sidis. So if you're on a Forma now and you're looking for a different boot, the Sidi might be a great option for you if your foot fits this one. And actually I wear the same in both boots, which is a 44. They both fit beautifully and identically. These ones here are, I guess, mildly waterproof, I think. I've had them in water, but I've been so deep that the water's actually come in over the top. And last but not least, because of the Forma, I've also bought for trials this year. I've only used these here on some practice sessions. These are my trial boots, which are also Forma. Sidi makes off-road boots as well. They're difficult to find, and I've grown now to try to support my local dealers. I'm almost exclusively buying all my boots from my local dealers. So my local Sidi dealer here now, which there is one, still only does the road line. So eventually he's going to get into the off-road line. So I'll probably move to Sidis and my off-road boots when these ones wear out. So anyway, 7 years, 200,000 kilometers, and still going. Until next time.